Tonight at 6, the very latest in the search for a man considered a suspect in a Sauk County homicide.
A verdict is reached 1 year to the day after the shooting death in Marshall of Jesse Faber. Tonight, we learn the fate of the man accused of Faber's murder.
And how the partial government shutdown is impacting thousands of residents right here in Wisconsin.
This is News 3 at 6.
Thanks for joining us. It is day 2 in the search for a Middleton man accused of murder.
Authorities are looking for 68-year-old Robert Pulvermacher. Our Keely Arthur first brought us the story, and she joins us now with the latest. Keely?
Authorities have responded to reports of sightings of Pulvermacher yesterday in Madison, but the town of Middleton man has yet to be apprehended and believed to be out in the community.
Robert Pulvermacher is believed to be responsible for killing an 80-year-old man in the parking lot of the Ho-Chunk Casino in the town of Delton Monday. He's been on the run since then. The Sauk County Sheriff's Office and a number of other agencies, including Madison PD, are looking for the 68-year-old with an extensive criminal past. Pulvermacher was found guilty in Dane County of burglary in 1997 and 1998. Guilty again in Adams County in 98 for recklessly endangering safety, felony possession of a firearm, false imprisonment, and intentionally pointing a firearm at a person in Adams County. That same year, he escaped from federal prison in Duluth. He was back in custody a week later. Pulvermacher was once connected to the high-profile Dane County murder of Father Alfred Coons. Sheriff Dave Mahoney tells us Pulvermacher was questioned about the 1998 homicide because of his past burglary convictions, but was cleared because of a solid alibi. Flash forward more than 20 years later, and Pulvermacher is considered the sole suspect in the Ho-Chunk homicide. A warrant is out for his arrest.
Of course, if you see Pulvermacher, authorities want you to call 911 and maintain a visual until they get there.
Keely, thank you.
Still unclear when sentencing will take place for a man convicted of murder. Today, a Dane County jury returned a guilty verdict in the murder trial against Daniel Leeske, convicted of killing 21-year-old Jesse Faber last year. Prosecutors say the 60-year-old shot Faber 5 times, then hid his body in a storage unit in Rio with the help of his fiancée.
I think going through this trial opened up all the wounds. Yeah. But in the end, it's worth it because the truth came out and the jury spoke. And they knew what we knew. Jesse was innocent.
Kept our family together.
He's not what he paints him to be. He's a sweet, caring kid.
Leeske now faces life in prison for the homicide conviction, plus 12 years for pleading guilty earlier to hiding Faber's body. Police are sharing this video after a stabbing last night in Platteville. They want to talk to this man about that incident. Police say the stabbing happened in a parking lot on 2nd Street around 11 p.m. Witnesses say it possibly stemmed from a bar fight. Anyone with any information is asked to call the Platteville Police Department. The Dodge County District Attorney will not file charges in an officer-involved shooting from last fall. The shooting took place in Beaver Dam October 26th, and today the DA there concluded Officer Brian Linsenmeyer's shooting was justified. The DA would not comment further because of another related criminal investigation.
The Madison Police Department is asking for help locating a missing 11-year-old boy. They are looking for Dominic Hale. He was reported missing around 8:20 this morning. He lives on Wright Street in Madison. Police say there is no evidence of foul play, but there is some concern for his welfare since he has a medical condition. Anyone who sees Dominic Hale is asked to call 911. A Wisconsin sheriff says his deputies did everything they could the night Jamie Kloss was abducted on October 15th. A criminal complaint says Jake Patterson told investigators he left the Kloss home in Barron with the 13-year-old locked in his trunk 20 seconds before he paused to yield to 3 oncoming squad cars. Jamie told investigators her mom called 911 after Patterson fired shots in their home, and he ordered her to hang up. Jamie escaped from where she was being held against her will last week. Patterson is charged with kidnapping and homicide for killing Jamie's parents.
Turning to weather, some sunshine was nice today after several days of cloud cover. Let's check in now with TV meteorologist Gary Canaldi. A look at the forecast, Gary.
Yeah, we're kind of in between weather systems today, and it was nice to have the sun with temperatures still a little bit above average. You can see on visible cloud track, the sky's sunny across Wisconsin. You can see the snow on the ground across Iowa and Illinois. You can see the river showing up there in the snow with some clouds farther to the south and farther to the west. And eventually, our skies will turn mostly cloudy overnight. As we take a look at Doppler track, there is a little little bit of light snow in parts of western Minnesota, western Iowa. That'll reach us tomorrow morning, and some flurries or maybe a little passing freezing drizzle as a storm system moves to our south. But right now, nothing is imminent across southern Wisconsin. Low temperatures this morning, teens north of Madison, low 20s to upper 20s here in the southern part of the state. High temperatures today right around the freezing mark, give or take a degree or two, and current temperatures are in the upper teens to the lower 20s. In fact, here in Madison, we're back at our low temperature for the day. We do have an alert day alert days in the forecast beginning Friday night into Saturday and Sunday for accumulating snow Friday night into Saturday morning, followed by a blast of cold air with wind chills down to 20 below zero by early Sunday morning. Otherwise, look for temperatures to drop to around 20 this evening, slowly rise overnight as skies turn cloudy. Tomorrow will be a cloudy day with a few flurries or a little patchy freezing drizzle in the morning with a high of 32. That's your first alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. The government shutdown now in day 26. No end in sight. The president signed a bill into law today authorizing back pay for government employees forced to work without pay during the shutdown. It comes as Democrats are suggesting the president delay his State of the Union address because the shutdown is stretching security resources. The White House says the president had a constructive meeting with a bipartisan group from the House today, but that the two sides have not reached a solution on border security. A new analysis from the Council of Economic Advisors shows the standoff over the border wall is impacting the economy at twice the rate the Trump administration expected. And of the 800,000 federal employees nationwide on standby to get those paychecks, 29,000 of them are right here in Wisconsin.
Some are now seeking unemployment benefits. Jamie Perez shares the story of one man who has been affected by this shutdown. Jamie?
Well, no one wants to have to seek unemployment, and neither does the man that I spoke with this afternoon. He has not yet filed for unemployment, but does understand why there are so many people who have. He says if this shutdown continues, he may have to resort to it as well.
I'll be honest, it's tough to find federal employees who are willing to share their struggles with this shutdown. Chris Hunt is the president of the union steward for the National Federation of Federal Employees, but is also a federal employee himself. Because he's speaking as a union member, he can share his story.
As a regular employee, I would not be willing to give this interview because we've been directed to not give interviews.
Chris has been out of work since the government shut down in December. He's a research chemist for the Forest Products Lab.
A lot of people depend on this information.
250,000 people, to be exact. Like many other furloughed employees, he's tired of finding things to fill his time he would otherwise be spending at work.
It's really frustrating because I'm really invested in what I do.
Chris is just one of 29,000 federal employees in Wisconsin who are not getting paid.
Too bad that they're unable to work due to no fault of their own at this time, and that they have to bear the brunt of that issue.
Emily Savard works with the Department of Workforce Development. She's seen the numbers climb in recent weeks for federal furloughed employees who are now seeking unemployment. Before the shutdown started, they had fewer than 20 federal employees who made initial claims for unemployment. As of last week, they're now at 281.
It's nonsense to go out and look for work because as soon as it shows up, and who wants to hire me knowing that I'm going to disappear on any given day.
Chris says he's not at the point yet where he wants to go through the process of seeking unemployment when he isn't sure when the government shutdown will end and he can go back to work. But he did admit he's in a place no parent wants to be.
I got the last kid moved out of the house and helped him buy a car in December, and so I kind of wiped out my savings. And so now I'm hitting up my other kid for a loan to help me get through.
Chris is not only concerned about his own future, but of future government workers as well.
So whether people want to work for the government in the future when this kind of silliness happens.
For anyone who wants to file an unemployment claim, you can do so at dwd.wisconsin.gov or call the claims number at 414-435-7069. I'll have that information on our website as well at channel3000.com.
Jamie, thank you. Madison Mayor Paul Soglin is also talking about the impact of this shutdown. Some programs that would be affected are WIC and SNAP, which are food programs that help feed children and low-income families. Housing and health care are other things that could be affected. The mayor says most problems will not happen until March.
We're doing better than most, and we will do better than most because of the very conservative budgeting we've done over the years and having adequate reserves. But they weren't intended for this purpose. They weren't intended to deal with the failures of the Trump administration and the shutdown of the government. As I
Mayor Soglin says he may also lose a city employee because work visas are not being processed, and documented workers across the state may not receive their work visas due to the partial government shutdown.
Another Madison teacher is in trouble for using a racial slur. The principal at Madison West High School said in a letter to parents this afternoon that a substitute teacher is now banned from teaching in the district after using a slur around a student this week. 2 other teachers, one at Madison East, another at Madison West, were removed in November for using racial slurs. And in the same month, a Hamilton middle school teacher resigned after being accused of yelling the N-word at a 12-year-old student.
Ahead at 6, some Walworth County residents are holding on to hope for a change.
Why they are pushing to improve and expand a major highway in the county, that's next at 6.
Leaders in Walworth County are making the effort to expand and improve what they say is one of their biggest needs.
News 3's Adam Duxter spent the day in Whitewater and joins us with why Highway 12 is such a big deal there, Adam.
Well, Eric and Charlotte, Highway 12 in Whitewater is only 2 lanes, and it doesn't have a direct route connecting it to Elkhorn. And not only is this inconvenient, leaders say in the area that it's dangerous. But with the new governor, they're hopeful now is the time something could change. Today, a light day in terms of traffic on Highway 12, an area that has developed a deadly reputation.
The residents that live on Highway 12 can't get out. So all of a sudden, they'll take a daring dash out into the highway with their car, and the next thing you know, you have an accident.
Leaders like Jeff Knight have been pushing for change for decades.
We need Highway 12, and they need to hear our voice.
And say with a new governor, now could finally be the time.
New representatives in a number of key locations, we're wanting to make sure we get the word out. This is a big issue. It's been a big issue, and we'd like to see it addressed.
The plan they propose is to build a new, wider section of highway between Whitewater and Elkhorn. Clapper says not only would this make things safer, it'd attract business and give people a better way into their city.
It's an opportunity to expand the traffic flow and get more people through our community.
Knight says now is the time for the state to make them a priority.
We want to be included. We want to be part of the game, and that's crucial that they complete the study before we can ever get funded for construction of projects.
Now, in order for anything to happen with this project, both men say the state would have to do an EIS, or environmental impact study. And doing this would essentially put them in line with the DOT to get a project started. They say they're hopeful to get that done, hopefully, by next summer.
All right, Adam Duxter reporting on. Adam, thank you. Convenience store Quick Trip earns a pretty cool honor today.
And you might want to fill your tank sooner rather than later. Gas prices are going up. tell you what's causing the increase after several months below $2.
And it's starting to feel a little more like winter here in southern Wisconsin. Gary will have the complete details in his forecast just ahead on News 3 at 6. Gas prices are going up for the first time in 3 months. In Madison, you'll still find some prices lower than the national average, a little more than $2 a gallon on average. It is about 15 cents cheaper to areas to our south, including Janesville and Beloit. The national gas price right now, the national average, $2.25 a gallon. AAA says the price of crude oil has been slowly but steadily increasing since January 1st. And that's starting to push up prices at the pump. Shopko filing for bankruptcy. At the end of last year, Shopko officials there announced they were going to close 39 stores in 19 states, including this store in La Crosse. Now, last week, 6 more stores were added to that list. Officials say bankruptcy will provide a, quote, path forward and will rebuild the store into a profitable business once again.
Quick Trip has been named the top gas station of 2018. Gas Buddy is behind this honor. The company says Quick Trip got the highest ratings and reviews in 4 of the categories it reviews. Casey's General Store also got 4th on this list.
All right, Gary Canalti joining us now as we take a more detailed look at your forecast for the rest of the work week. Gary?
Pretty quiet right now, but that will change. We've got some snow on the way, followed by cold weather, and then another bout of snow next week. As we take a look at alert days that we have in the forecast, we put them in for Friday night into Saturday and Sunday. Accumulating snow Friday night could bring several inches of accumulation, especially south of Madison. The snow will gradually wind down after some minor morning accumulations on Saturday, and then we'll see temperatures turn sharply colder in the afternoon. By Sunday morning, temperatures will be down to around 0 with wind chills from -10 to -20 and high temperatures that will only reach the lower teens. In the short term, there are some flurries out to the west across parts of Iowa and Minnesota. They'll reach us tomorrow morning, maybe a little freezing drizzle mixed in, not expecting any widespread travel problems. Right now, you can see where the lack of snow is, right through southern Wisconsin. The storms have been either going to the south of us or to the north of us. That's where the more widespread snow cover is. But I think this will fill in pretty nicely over the next week or so. Take a look at what the computer models are showing. This is our RPM computer model we use for local forecasting. This is for the storm Friday night into Saturday. A little more than an inch in Madison, but perhaps close to 8 inches in Dubuque, Iowa. So that heaviest band of snow just to our south. There'll be a tight line as far as from the lighter snow to the heavier snow, and a little shift in the path of the storm could make a big difference in amounts. The European computer model showing the heaviest snow to the south, a little more tolerable amounts, about 4.5 inches in Dubuque, about 1.5 inches here in Madison, lesser amounts to the north. But another storm system in the Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday time period could bring additional snow accumulations, and you can see that adds up to another couple inches here in parts of southern Wisconsin, with the heaviest amounts again staying to our south and to our east on that storm. Now the GFS computer model, the U.S. computer model that we use for much of the day-to-day forecasting, showing about 4 inches from the storm Friday into Saturday here in Madison, about 6 inches near the Illinois state line, and heavier amounts to the south and west. Take a look at what it does with the next storm system. Brings in much heavier accumulation, so that by the time we head into the latter part of next week, there could be an additional anywhere from 5 to 10 inches of snow if this computer model forecast is correct through southern Wisconsin. Right now, that's the only computer model that's predicting it. So at this point, we're still holding our breath on that one. But definitely we'll be looking for snow Friday night into Saturday morning. That should wind down Saturday afternoon. And then the cold northerly winds come sweeping in with snow on the ground. Those temperatures will drop off very quickly by Sunday morning. Live view from the Edgewater Sky Cam in downtown Madison. Skies are partly cloudy here today. We had some sunshine. High today made it to 33. The low temperature 22. And actually, that's where we are now. Temperatures may drop a couple more degrees before they start rising. Winds out of the northeast at 5. Wind chill is at 16 degrees. Temperatures are in the single digits to our north and below zero in northern Minnesota. To the south, though, those temperatures closer to 30 degrees in the Chicago area. We'll look for similar temperatures for the next couple of days before those temperatures really drop after the snow accumulates. 20 for the overnight low temperature. That'll be late this evening. Then skies will turn cloudy and we'll see temperatures rise overnight. Tomorrow, some flurries or some freezing drizzle in the morning. High temperature at 32, but cloudy skies for much of the day. Future tracking, see plenty of clouds overnight. Again, those flurry, freezing drizzle chances move through in the morning. Highs tomorrow, lower 30s. Tomorrow night, skies actually clear out for a bit. Low temperatures drop into the upper teens, and the clouds move back in for Friday, and here comes the snow by late afternoon into the evening. High temperatures will be in the middle 20s. As far as snowfall amounts, we're thinking about 2 to 4 inches from Madison southward. Lesser amounts to the north. Again, this is from Friday night into Saturday. The 7 to 10 day forecast. You can see colder weather follows in the wake of the storm. High only of 12 with a low of 3 on Sunday. Some snow chances toward the middle of next week, followed by another shot of cold air after the following weekend.
The Badger men's and women's hockey teams get set for a unique weekend in 3 different states. The story's coming up in sports. It's a big weekend for Badger hockey. The top-ranked Badger women's team and the second-ranked Gophers go head-to-head at Ritter Arena Friday and Saturday. Wisconsin junior Presley Norby is one of 5 Badgers that grew up in Minnesota, was in fact a Gophers fan. She says her room was decked out in maroon and gold until she visited Madison in high school. The fact she gets to play in a rivalry series that she grew up watching makes this even more special.
I went to a ton of Gopher games when I was little. I was the girl reaching my hand over the glass just to get high fives from them, and just like college hockey players in general. It made me super excited, and I always love to go to those games, and especially the border battle. I've definitely been to a few of those in my lifetime, watching and playing.
One of my first ever women's college hockey games was the Minnesota-Wisconsin border battle at Minnesota. And I think that was the only one I've ever gone to when I was little. So I definitely had that in the back of my mind when I was coming here and was really excited to play in it.
Badger men's hockey also has a special weekend ahead. Wisconsin plays Notre Dame this week. Friday night's game is at the Kohl Center, then the series moves to United Center in Chicago for Game 2 Sunday night. It's the second straight year the Badgers and Irish have played a game at the home of the NHL's Chicago Blackhawks. Wisconsin won last year's game 5-0, and head coach Tony Granato hopes the trip to the UC is just the kind of boost his guys need.
Anytime your players get a chance to play in an NHL building, especially like you said, we got a lot of guys from the area, the Wisconsin kids, the Illinois kids, obviously to play in the building that the Blackhawks play in is exciting for them. Last year was our first year of doing it, and it was a great event as far as the enthusiasm in the building and having, kind of right in between Notre Dame and Wisconsin. I think the atmosphere was what we were looking for.
Our next Prep Mania game of the week is tomorrow night. We'll have boys hockey on channel3000.com. Edgewood and Sun Prairie. McFarland gave Edgewood its first Badger South Conference loss last night, 5-3. So the Crusaders look to get back on track against the 4th-ranked team in the state. Edgewood Sun Prairie boys hockey tomorrow night, live at 7:45 on channel3000.com. Former Alabama quarterback Jalen Hurts has picked his new college destination. Hurts is transferring to Oklahoma. As a graduate transfer, Hurts can play next season like Russell Wilson did at Wisconsin in 2011. With Kyler Murray going pro, Jalen Hurts fills the void at Oklahoma for next season. In the NFL, the Detroit Lions have hired Darrell Bevell as their offensive coordinator. Sunday, it's the NFL Conference Championship games. The Rams at Saints just after 2 o'clock, followed by the Patriots and Chiefs here on Channel 3. Today, Patriots coach Bill Belichick was asked what makes Kansas City's offense so good.
Quarterback's good, the backs are good, tight ends are good, receivers are good, line's good, coach is good. I mean, they're all good.
See? Sunday at 5:40 p.m., Channel 3, the AFC Championship game, New England at Kansas City. Then 2 weeks from Sunday, it's Super Bowl Sunday. Super Bowl 53 in Atlanta, kickoff just after 5:30. Sunday, February 3rd, right here on Channel 3, and that's going to be good.
Cool
like
graphic.
Yeah.
Cool graphic. Yeah, they're good. They're all good. They're good.
They're all good.
They're good. Weather's not
Forecast
too good.
not quite so good with snow coming from Friday night to Saturday. Unless you like snow, we're looking at a couple of inches of snow from Madison southward, a little bit less to the north, maybe additional snow in the middle of next week.
All right, Gary, thanks. Thanks for joining us at 6.
Have a great evening. We'll see you back here at 10.